Welcome back to Bearcat Update. I'm your host, Jenny James.
And I'm Alex Sanchez. Welcome to this very tropical version of Bearcat Update. Let's get right to it and talk about the football team as they closed up their spring season with their annual green and white spring game last Thursday.
The Green squad, compiled of the Bearcat starters, won 14-10. Backup quarterback Jaden Kowalski led in passing with 81 yards. 55 were from a touchdown to Amani Donadell in the first quarter. The single reception allowed Donadell to lead in receiving. LaTroy Harper was second in line, racking in 47 yards on 3 catches. Isaiah Strayhorn led the way on the ground, carrying the ball 13 times for 52 yards and a touchdown.
They have some high expectations set before the first game against Missouri Western in the fall. Let's send it over to our BCU analyst, Jon Walker, out at Bearcat Stadium for insight on the game. John?
Thanks, guys. Now, I am here in Bearcat Stadium where the Northwest football team had their annual spring game. And, well, if this spring game was any indicator of how the season's going to go for them in the fall, they have some bright spots on both sides of the ball. Obviously, for the Northwest defense, it is looking pretty bright as always. The first team defense held the first team offense to 0 points in the first half and under 30 total yards. Senior Shama Pierre knew exactly what the expectation is for this Bearcat defense for their upcoming season.
As you know, the history of defenses at Northwest, we're usually number 1 in the nation, and so it just felt good. We know we have a goal to be back there again. We want to be number 1. We want to hold teams. I'm upset that in the second half we started giving them, first downs and all that. But we're just going to continue to grow and continue to be that number 1 defense in the past. So.
Now, guys, you heard it from Shama right there. He expects this defense to be in full force up there in the top ranks and possibly the best defense in the nation. Now, for the first team offense, despite trailing at the end of the first half to the first team defense 10-0, their comeback started late in the third quarter. They started their comeback with a 15-yard touchdown run from Isaiah Strayhorn to bring the first team within 3 points in the ball game. They were eventually able to take the lead early in the fourth quarter and hang on to it as the first team came out on top 14-10 in the spring game. Sophomore receiver LaTroy Harper knows that this offense had some shoes to fill after losing guys like Josh Caldwell, Sean Bain Jr., Cody Massey, and a few others due to graduation and things last season, at the end of last season, that is. So coming into this season, all of the transfers they had in, all of the younger guys that didn't get to play as many minutes were going to have to rise to the occasion this season. And, well, LaTroy knows exactly how much that they've made the wide receiver room in particular better already.
We're competitors. Everybody in that room is a competitor. We got a lot of guys that came in and they started taking a lot of the spots immediately. So we, as the guys were returning, we had to step our game up and compete in order to get our spots back. So, it's a room full of competitors. Everybody's out here to compete.
So, guys, that is going to wrap things up for my last segment of the semester. Thank you to everybody that tuned in and watched my analysis and breakdowns of every team every week. Just want to take a big second and thank you guys. But Alex, Jenny, that's going to wrap things up from the annual spring game here inside of Bearcat Stadium. The first team outscores the second team 14-10 behind some heroics in the second half. Now, the Northwest football team is done for the spring, but when they hit back in the fall, they'll start their season on the road against those people down the road, Missouri Western. So for the final time this school year, Alex, Jenny, back to you guys.
Thanks, John. The softball team is holding up their undefeated home record with junior shortstop Kaitlyn Weis. Our reporter Dylan Johnson headed to the field to catch up with Weis about the season. Dylan?
Junior Kaitlyn Weis has been playing softball since she was 2 years old. By playing backyard catch with her father, Weis caught a love for the game.
I really enjoy how there's different pieces that you could pick apart about softball, and I'm able to rely on teammates, and I can trust my teammates and my coaches to have my back.
Weis is currently in the top 3 for home runs and ranks number 1 for slugging percentage in the MIAA. Shockingly, Weis was unaware of her accomplishments this season, but it was no surprise to her freshman teammate, Addie Watts.
I am so happy for her. She deserves it all. She's put in so much work in the cages and on the field.
It makes me feel good because, it shows that my hard work has paid off.
So far this season, the Bearcats are 11-22. But Weis has not gone through this journey alone.
We always have this saying like trust and believe, so we just have to trust ourselves, trust each other, trust the process, I guess, and believe in the process and believe in yourself, believe in your teammates.
The impact Weis has on the team does not appear on the stat sheet.
With her being at shortstop and her being able to communicate in the infield, I mean, she tells us all the time to play for somebody, and she's definitely helped a lot of us younger girls on the team.
Hitting 17 out of the 38 home runs at home, Weis and the Bearcats will finish the remainder of their season in the Maryville atmosphere, of which they are 6-0.
We're really good about that. We can hit home runs like it's nobody's business when we can.
With this home field advantage, the Cats hope to turn their season around. Reporting for Bearcat Update, I'm Dylan Johnson.
Thanks, Dylan. The Cats opened up the week with a doubleheader against Southwest Baptist last Monday. 6 home runs in Game 1 bring a new record to town, beating out the 5 home run record set in 2006 by the Cats. Weis closed Game 1, bringing in 2 runs. They finished with a 9-7 win.
In Game 2, no better way to bring the Cats up 5 runs than another homer from Carly Allen. The Bats couldn't be stopped, cruising the Cats to an easy 5-1 victory over SBU.
To continue their home stretch, Central Missouri will be coming to town next on Tuesday for another doubleheader.
We're going to take a quick break, but stick around. We're having more Northwest sports up next. You're watching Bearcat Update on KNWT Channel 8. Welcome back to Bearcat Update. Northwest baseball coach Lowe brings men in from all different backgrounds, including senior catcher Alixon Herrera from Venezuela. Our reporter Nolan Brooks caught up with Herrera to discuss what the team is doing for him. Nolan?
Northwest baseball has plenty of talent across the board, but there's one player who stands out among the rest, Alixon Herrera. Fellow teammate and catcher Jay Herdlicka has high praise for Herrera and what he brings to the team.
It's both. I mean, he's got a strong arm. He gets big throwouts behind the plate, and he's good for a double. I mean, I think he leads the team in RBI, so I mean that just gets us going every time he's at the plate, and just a big emotional leader too. If you need to lean on him, he'll get you fired up, or he'll calm you down. You know, so he's good for all that. So. But
there's another side to Herrera that goes beyond the diamond, a juggling act of sorts that creates challenges.
Well, it hasn't been easy, you know, but at the same time, you know, the coaching staff and my teammates have helped me out. They've been really supportive about it, you know, especially having a kid, you know. I have a two-year-old. It's really difficult, but they understand, you know, they support me. Any decision, you know, when my kid's sick or anything, they're there for me, you know, and I think that's the best thing for me and my family and the team.
But despite all the challenges Herrera has faced, one thing has remained constant, the experience of being a Bearcat through thick and thin.
I'm really happy to be a Bearcat, you know. Being a Bearcat changed my life, I'll say that. I changed a lot of things since I came here, you know, in the baseball standpoint and the classroom standpoint. I think I have improved greatly, you know, and that's because, you know, everybody supports each other, and it's not just a team, it's a family.
In his time at Northwest, Herrera has proven to be more than just a teammate. He's a friend, a motivator, and a leader. For Bearcat Update, I'm Nolan Brooks.
Thanks, Nolan. The Cats headed to Kansas last Tuesday for a single game against Washburn. With runs from the Ichabods early, the Cats rallied in the 6th thanks to Rycraft, Quick, and Herdlicka. Mondesi Gutierrez also got the chance to score in the 7th. Late scoring wouldn't provide the Cats with enough as they fell to the Ichabods 6-4.
Thursday, they opened up the 3-game series against the second in the conference, the Central Missouri Mules. Herrera added 3 runs to the board with Derek Hussey driving in 4. This is Herrera's first 4-hit game of his entire collegiate career at Northwest. Runs going back and forth inning after inning would bring the game to 10 innings, with the Cats taking the lead 11-10, holding the Mules in taking Game 1.
Friday with Game 2, the Cats couldn't resist the comeback of the Mules and dropped, continuing the series 1-1. The Cats couldn't finish strong in Warrensburg on Saturday to close the series against the Mules. They dropped Game 3 of the series, bringing their record to 18-22.
The men will be heading to Kansas City on Tuesday to play a single game against Rockers, followed by a 3-game home series against Lindenwood starting Friday.
Our Northwest track and field team headed to the Kansas Relays this past week for some tough competition. Our reporter Dylan Johnson caught the results.
Not only did the team head to Kansas this weekend, but also had several record-breaking performances in California. Let's start off at the Brian Clay Invitational in Azusa, California, where Jordan Hammond ran 58.94 for third place in the 400-meter hurdles. Kevin Schultz took fourth in the high jump, while the men's 4x100-meter relay captured fifth, and Omar Austin placed seventh in the 400 meters. Moving to Long Beach for the Beach Invitational, Kevin Schultz jumped into third place for the high jump with a height of 2.20 meters, sitting on top of all Division II and breaking another school record. Jordan Hammond placed third again for the 400-meter hurdles, while Omar Austin took sixth for the 200-meter dash. Marcus Klein jumped into ninth place for the long jump, and Mercedes Isaacson Clover finished 10th for the triple jump. Other Bearcats competed in the KU relays. Tucker Dahl finished the 3,000-meter steeplechase, taking second. Northwest men's dominated the decathlon, capturing third, fourth, and fifth place by Phil Elliott, Nolan Smith, and Spencer Morrison. The Northwest women took advantage of the 10,000 meters with Keely Danielson in third, Katie Bush in sixth, and Maria Mostic in 10th. Shay James ran the 3,000-meter steeplechase, taking seventh overall. Lastly, Hallie Craig placed seventh in the shot put, and Josh Warner took 10th.
Coach Masters and the team will be taking several of their competitors to Iowa for the Drake Relays and Simpson Twilight this next week. This will be their last chance to prepare for the MIAA Outdoor Championships beginning May 3rd. With it being Coach Masters' first season at Northwest, I think he's taken our athletes to another level, breaking records all over the track. We hope to see them qualify more athletes for the NCAA Outdoor Championships in Texas at the end of May.
Yeah. As the ladies' golf season is coming to a close, they have yet to play at the MIAA Championship. The women will be headed to Kansas at the Firekeeper Golf Course in Mayetta to represent Northwest against a competitive MIAA conference.
The men's tennis team took on William Woods last Friday, dropping several matches to the Owls. Saturday in St. Louis, the team took on Washington and dropped several matches. To close out the regular season, the men will be playing Augustana in Sioux Falls, South Dakota on Tuesday. The women had an off week of competition and will be joining the men for their next competition against Augustana on Tuesday. The MIAA tournament bracket has already been set and the Cats will be headed to Oklahoma City this weekend. The women will be taking on Emporia State on Friday, followed by the men competing against the Washburn Ichabods on Saturday.
Although this is the close of Bearcat Update for the spring, we wish the best of luck from all of us here in the studio to all Northwest athletes as they head into the end of the spring season. We would like to thank you all for tuning in all semester. Thank you for everybody. This is my last show. This is Alex Sanchez tuning off for the last time.
Although we are done until the fall, you can still follow us on Twitter at BearcatUpdate_8.
Or watch all of our previous episodes on YouTube at KNWT8. Thanks for watching and have a great night. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Bearcat Update.
You can catch last week's episode up here and all of our previous episodes down here. Check it out.